Cat's Cradle here. Here I am on my day off again making a video. It's the only time I really have time to do it, and I'm looking at the clock and I've spent a little over 2 hours on this, but I want to get this information out, and it's really in response to a lot of the comments I got on the sugar ban video. And if you want to, I really recommend you go read the comments under that video because they're very interesting. Some of them very informed, some of them not so much. And I wanted to do this for you because it's something that really bugs me. You know, when they talk about banning sugar, they're talking about how bad it is for you, and I'll address that in a little bit. But I want to do this for all of you folks who talk about how bad refined sugar is and how others are superior, and I just want to do this for you so that you can see exactly what we're dealing with here and so that you can see the facts. These are the kind of sweeteners I store. There's a pretty wide variety here. There's a couple that are missing, and I'll talk to you about one of them in just a minute. You may have some other kind of sweeteners, but I think these would be pretty representative of the kinds of sweeteners people may have. Most people don't have this many, I wouldn't think, but certainly some of the basic ones here. And I'm going to start here with granulated sugar. Well, no, let's not do that. Let's start with corn syrup. Now, I don't have high fructose corn syrup, but it doesn't vary very much from this. Let's start here because this seems to be the demon in everyone's mind. High fructose is just a little bit different than this. But here's corn syrup, and I have on each of these placed a label with how many calories they have, how many grams of sugar they have, and anything else beneficial or wonderful that they might have. So here we go. Here's corn syrup. It delivers 22 calories. This is all, each one of these are per teaspoon. 22 calories per teaspoon, 4 grams of sugar. Okay? Let's compare that to granulated sugar. It has 15 calories per teaspoon and the same amount, 4 grams of sugar. Okay? So the corn syrup delivers just a few, 7 more calories, but the same grams of sugar. Let's just look at just cheap pancake syrup. 18 calories, 3 grams of sugar. You want to eliminate a few calories and still get some sweetness. That might be a choice as opposed to this. Let's look at powdered sugar. 10 calories per teaspoon and 2 grams of sugar. Now this has just a little bit of cornstarch mixed in it, and it's powdered, so you could expect that to be lower. Okay? Let's look at brown sugar. Some people think that's really superior to granulated sugar because some of the molasses has been left in. Well, not much. 15 calories, 4 grams of sugar. Let's look back at granulated. 15 and 4. Exactly the same. No nutrients are listed on the back of this package. None. Okay? So let's go to... let's go to this one because people think this is just the be-all, end-all in the sugar world. This is raw sugar. 20 calories per teaspoon as opposed to 15 of granulated sugar, and 5 grams of sugar as opposed to 4. Now remember this on raw sugar, just about the same as the granulated sugar. I don't have a package of this because I put this into a container and throw away the package when I bought it. I buy this, and I buy all these sweeteners for different reasons. I like raw sugar on my steel-cut oatmeal when I eat steel-cut oats. And so I'm going to take you to the raw sugar site in a minute when we go to the computer and show you all the nutrients it's loaded with. Okay? All right, honey. Honey has 20 calories per teaspoon, 5 grams of sugar. Any nutrients, anything listed? No. Yeah, let's do this one next. Well, no, let's go to maple syrup. Maple syrup, By the way, that's about $50 in maple syrup there. Incredibly expensive. Has 17 calories per teaspoon, 4 grams of sugar. This does have trace amounts less than 0.33% of calcium, iron, and sodium. Okay? Hardly anything in that. I have brown rice syrup here. It packs 25 calories per teaspoon, 3 grams of sugar, has a little bit of sodium and a little bit of potassium. Now if you're working hard and sweating outside, you might want a little extra potassium. Potassium also serves as a little bit of a laxative, so that might be a consideration for you. Brown rice syrup, not all that different. Barley malt, 20 calories per teaspoon, 3 grams of sugar, a little bit of potassium there. Okay. Do we do molasses? Here's molasses. 19 calories per teaspoon, 5 grams of sugar. Lots of good things in there, you think? Not so much. Nothing listed. I'll actually turn this one around so you can see it because people won't believe that. Let's see. Protein, none. Oh, a little bit of sodium. 15 milligrams of sodium. That's per tablespoon, so 5 milligrams of sodium per teaspoon. I missed that. Nothing else. No vitamins, minerals listed. Okay. Cane syrup. One of my favorites. 20 calories per teaspoon, 5 grams of sugar, 1 gram of calcium, and 2 grams of iron. So, in my opinion, if there's a standout on this table at all, it's cane syrup. Now, it has a little bit of a strong taste. It's excellent to make molasses cookies. I love this product. Not that it's incredibly superior. It delivers 20 calories and 5 grams of sugar as opposed to Green Lady, which is 5 calories and 4 grams of sugar. So there is not, in my opinion, much difference other than this powdered sugar, which is only 10 calories per teaspoon. But it's got cornstarch in it too. So I'm going to throw that one out. But when you talk about the rest of these, there is not much of a difference at all. And when you talk about something having a little bit of trace elements of something like this brown rice syrup or the cane syrup or even the barley malt or maybe a little bit of the maple syrup, it's so insignificant. So my recommendation is that you buy your sweetener according to what tastes good to you because they are so similar. Let's go over to the computer because I want you to see, because so many people say, oh, raw sugar, raw sugar, raw sugar. That's all they talk about is raw sugar. I want you to see what the raw sugar people have to say about their own product. Okay, let's go to the computer. Okay, the heater just came on. I hope you can still hear me over it. A lot of people, when they watch my video, Government to Regulate Sugar, mentioned that J.P. Morgan had taken delivery on 1 million metric tons of raw sugar last year. This article appeared in May 11 in the Financial Post, and you can read that. I'll attach a link to that. That's really interesting that there's talk of banning sugar, but J.P. Morgan just took delivery of 1 million metric tons of it. Found something else interesting. One of my subscribers sent me this article, and I realize I'm not really talking about GMO here, but this article appeared in Vanity Fair, and it's rather lengthy. I think it's 6 pages, but it sure is worth reading. And I'm going to take you to page 3 here. I just thought you'd find this interesting. It's a great article. It's not hard to read, and it's surely worth wading through. Let me see if I can find it here. I think it's on page 3. Hold on one second here. One more page. Yeah, here we go. You're going to find this so interesting. Monsanto was founded in 1901 by John Francis Queenie, a tough cigar-smoking Irishman with a 6th grade education. He was a buyer for a wholesale drug company, and he had some big ideas, but his employer didn't want to listen to him, so he decided to go into business for himself, and he was convinced there was money to be made in the selling of a substance called saccharin, an artificial sweetener that we were currently importing from Germany. He took about $1,500 of his own savings, and he borrowed another $3,500, and he set up shop in a dingy warehouse down in St. Louis. He borrowed equipment, and he began making saccharin. The company was called Monsanto. That was his wife's maiden name. Now, the German cartel wasn't very happy about him manufacturing saccharin, so they knocked the price of the saccharin they were selling from $4.50 a pound to $1 a pound to try to force him out of business. But he was undaunted. Questions arose about the safety of saccharin, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture even tried to ban it. Fortunately for Queenie, he wasn't up against opponents as aggressive and litigious as the Monsanto of today. He persisted, and the loyalty of one steady customer kept the company afloat. Guess who that company was? The steady customer was a new company in Georgia named Coca-Cola. Very interesting. He went from making saccharin to making aspirin, and then he got into pesticides and other chemicals and that kind of thing. Thought you might find that interesting. I'll post the link to that. Just a couple of other things here. I've lost my place here. Here we go. You know, if we want to talk about banning something, why doesn't the government talk about banning artificial sweeteners, aspartame, those chemicals that you know we know make us sick? How about regulating GMO foods or pesticides or mercury in vaccines or aluminum in our food products or fluoride or BPA? There's any number of things that they could regulate. Why are they targeting sugar? Now, I hear a lot of people saying, and I had several comments about this, well, it's just terrible for us, and it's contributing to obesity, and you know, it's just making us sick and all this stuff. You know what? You have to filter through the garbage and the rhetoric that we're being indoctrinated with. You know what? Sugar has been around for a very long time, and you know, our ancestors, pardon me, our ancestors ate sugar. They didn't have the health issues we have. You know, how about if we look at our lifestyle overall and how often we eat at fast food restaurants and how much trans fat and hydrogenated fats we're eating that our ancestors never ate before. You know, and this is a whole nother video, but our bodies don't even have a genetic history to process those kinds of fats. How about we have become so sedentary? We sit at desk jobs and we sit in front of these crazy computers, and our children sit in front of video games, and you know, we have desk jobs instead of out working the land like we should be. Rather than, you know, walking, you know, 4 or 5 blocks to the bank, we get in the car. We drink sodas that are laden with chemicals that keep us from processing our food like we should. I mean, there's lots of reasons. We can lay the blame on sugar, but I think there's lots of better places to lay the blame for sure. Do we eat too much sugar? No doubt. We eat too much sugar. But banning it or removing it from our diet, I mean, how ridiculous is that? Do the research, and I think you'll agree. Oh, there's one thing I meant to show you here, and I forgot. Let me see if I can pull it up. You know what? Actually, I'll do that off camera just to be sure I don't take up too much time here. One of the sugars I did not have on the table for you that everybody's all a Twitter about right now is agave. And agave is the natural sugars that are extracted from a particular kind of, well, in fact, the agave cactus plant. And people are talking about it being a raw food and how natural it is. Well, it's no more raw than granulated sugar is. It's heated to 140 degrees, and by definition, a raw food can only be heated to 118 degrees. It's hydrolyzed. It is certainly a processed food, very much like maple syrup. And very often, because true agave is very expensive, they will cut it with corn syrup. So, you know, if you're into that, you might want to look on the back and see if they're cutting your agave with corn syrup. Let me go find, I thought I had it pulled up here for you. Let me go find the raw sugar site, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is from Sugar in the Raw's very own website. Here we go, Sugar in the Raw. The answer to the question, what is sugar in the raw? It's a natural sugar made exclusively from sugarcane juice. It's extracted from the sugarcane, then crystallized through evaporation. Then the crystals are rinsed with water to remove just enough stickiness to make the product free-flowing. So what makes it different from other sugars? Listen what makes it different. Sugar in the raw's distinctive color and taste comes from the sugarcane juice flavor that naturally occurs in the crystals. By contrast, white sugar is obtained by refining the sugarcane crystals to remove all the sugarcane juice flavor. Okay, we knew that. And with that, all the nutrients. Listen to that. And with that, all the nutrients are removed. Thus, white sugar is basically 100% sucrose, where sugar in the raw contains very small amounts of nutrients. So all those nutrients that were washed away really are just a very small amount. Some nutritionists believe that these very small amounts of nutrients contribute to the advantage sugar in the raw has over refined white sugar. Notice, they say some nutritionists believe because they know they can't say it themselves. There is no additional benefit to eating raw sugar unless you consume copious amounts of it to get nutrients, but then you would be consuming way too much sugar. So, you know, please folks, use your head here. I hope this has answered some questions. What I plan to do, frankly, is go to Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company today, and I'm buying me several packets of stevia. It is $2.75 per packet. 15 heirloom seeds are in the packet. I plan to grow this stuff with abandon and dry it and powder it and store it away. It is much 300 times sweeter than sugar. It grows in zones 8 through 10. I say stock up on it. Stock up on regular granulated sugar as well, but get you some stevia seeds. This is rareseeds.com. I'll post a link. I hope this helped. I hope it at least gets you thinking, and that when you hear things that you just don't take them at face value, that you study it out for yourself and make an educated choice. Cat's Cradle